मजे को दुगुना करना है, मजे को तीन गुना करना है। गाजी, रोहन, कमाल से।
The battle for Bihar is on. Bihar on a turning pitch, or captain stays the same. NDTV hosts the biggest pre-poll event. Bihar's warriors, challengers and biggest faces live. NDTV Power Play Bihar. Unmissable in Patna, November 1st.
We unveil NDTV Golf Pro-Am, India's #1 golf Pro-Am, the course of champions, the conversation of leaders.
What a stellar lineup we have here on the stage of the
For 35 years now, Lalu Prasad Yadav and Nitish Kumar together set the narrative that is contemporary Bihar. If Nitish had been about governmental concern of welfare and development, then Lalu's agenda had been about dignity and distribution of governmental resources. One was about caste-based politics, the other functional social engineering. The two together embossed the state with their imprint, and between them they defined Bihar politics, and they do so even today. One's in power, the one wants his son to be in power. Coming up now on NDTV is our focus for this week, the political story of Bihar, Juxtaposed.
From the ubiquitous crowds thronging the ghats during Chhath to the stereotypical litti chokha, from migrant workers in jam-packed trains to the lilt of a Bhojpuri song. Or just Manoj Bajpayee. There are many typecasts to describe Bihar and the Bihari. But then there is caste and there is politics. And there are tenuous mathematical equations where caste and politics intersect in Bihar. For the past 35 years, there have been two poles of power around which the electoral circuits have hummed. Two power centers in Patna, two juggernauts of Bihar, two disciples of the same socialist ideologue, forged on identical anvils of idealism. Once brothers in arms, now an either-or choice at the ballots. From the parallels to the distinctions, this is the story of Bihar, juxtaposed. The Bihar Assembly elections of 2020 was the coming of age of a young one-term MLA, Tejashwi Yadav. It was in this election that he emerged from the shadow of his father and almost single-handedly brought the RJD-led Mahagathbandhan tantalizingly close to claiming power in Bihar. The lantern in the youthful Tejashwi's hand spluttered. He fell short by just 12 seats. Possibly the fallout of his opponent's concerted campaign strategy, fanning the fear of a return to Lalu Raj. It helped that Lalu Yadav, Tejashwi's father and the founder of the RJD, was then in jail, convicted of corruption in the controversial fodder scam during his tenure as Chief Minister of Bihar.
देखिए, लालू का ज़माना निकल गया, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी की कोशिश है कि लालू का जो जंगल राज है या लालू का जो बैगेज है वो तेजस्वी पर लिया जाए। और इसलिए तेजस्वी बार बार, आपने देखा होगा कि जो उनका चुनाव प्रचार है, उनके कैंपेन हैं, होर्डिंग्स है, उसमें लालू जी, राबड़ी जी नहीं हैं। तो वो उस बैगेज से दूर रहना चाहते हैं और भारतीय जनता पार्टी कहती है कि कम से कम वो टैग उन पर चिपका रहना चाहिए।
People remember, but people also notice that Tejashwi Yadav is a very different political animal compared to his father Lalu Prasad Yadav.
The issue of backward empowerment dominated the 1990 assembly elections in the still undivided state of Bihar. Janata Dal emerged as the single largest party with 121 seats. The Congress had 71, BJP 39, CPI 23, CPM 6 and the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha had 19. Independents emerged as a major force, having 130 seats. It was evident that the government would be of a coalition led by the Janata Dal. Within the party, there was intense competition over the question of who was to be the new chief minister of a non-Congress Bihar government. On 10th of March 1990, the new Chief Minister, Lalu Prasad Yadav, took oath at a massive public gathering in Gandhi Maidan. Lalu had emerged victor as he had had the backing of stalwarts like Devi Lal and Sharad Yadav and the unflinching support of compatriot Nitish Kumar. He was hailed as the leader of the people and the champion of backward empowerment in a state that had historically been dominated by the upper castes.
लालू जो हैं और नीतीश दोनों एक साथ की राजनीति के लोग हैं, जेपी के मूवमेंट से निकले हुए, लेकिन लालू ज़्यादा तेज, ज़्यादा बड़े पॉलिटिशियन रहे और उनके पास एक बड़ा मजबूत जाति का वोट बैंक था।
Lalu was what one could call, in the absence of a better word, a secular alternative, whereby although they were all anti-Congress, but Lalu was not very comfortable with the Jansangh, Bharatiya Jansangh at that time, whereas Nitish, in that sense, was an anti-Congress leader who, because he was part of the Janata Party, he had developed very good relationships with Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and therefore he was comfortable with the Jansangh.
काहे कोनो के लौकी टूटे, कोहरा टूटे, पेटी चोरी हो जा, सौ में ललुए के हाथ हो।
Lalu's constituency were the backwards and Muslims. his becoming the chief minister gave them a sense of belonging and dignity. They believed that he was their man, ruling on their behalf for their benefit. In his first term as chief minister, Lalu went about creating the image of a common man chief minister. He was the rustic, popular, anti-establishment underdog that the backward castes loved. But it soon became evident that within the so-called backwards, the economically rich and politically influential Yadavs began to corner most of the benefits of the Lalu Raj, while other backwards remained poor.
राष्ट्रीय जनता दल का अध्यक्ष निर्वाचित घोषित करने लालू यादव लालू यादव लालू यादव लालू यादव
Law and order was at its lowest, and there was economic stagnation. That is what opponents call the Jungle Raj of Bihar. There was no jungle in Bihar as such, but the lack of law and order, the lack of some kind of economic progress, and Lalu sat over it. I don't know consciously or unconsciously, but he just sat over it. He didn't do much about it, although I myself as a journalist would remind him through my writings, through my interviews. And in a famous interview, he told me, Vikas और राजनीति में कोई संबंध नहीं है. I had written about it. So,
watching from the sidelines, Lalu's brother in socialist arms could no longer accept the brazen Yadavization of Bihar. Overcoming his initial apprehension and goaded on by his constituents, the engineer and Kurmi leader Nitish Kumar broke rank. The anti-Lalu swirl swelled into a massive gathering at Gandhi Maidan in February 1994. Under a caste banner of the Kurmi Chetna rally, Nitish mounted the stage and roared from the lectern. जो सरकार हमारे हितों को नजरअंदाज करती है, वो सरकार सत्ता में नहीं रह सकती. He had cried out his challenge to Lalu.
Nitish was not happy the way Lalu was carrying on from 1990. Nitish soon realized that for Lalu, all of this is rhetoric. He's not doing anything on the ground. There is no attempt to build, let's say, educational centers or let's say health, which was in a pathetic shape. There was no. See, Nitish is also like Lalu, a socialist, but he is a socialist with a vision.
Nitish Kumar turned out to be the great survivor of Bihar politics. Without his party ever having won a clear majority, most times even without being the largest party in assembly, Nitish Kumar formed and headed 9 governments in Bihar, twice in alliance with his main adversary, Lalu Yadav's RJD. The RJD, with Lalu's promise of social parity, held power in Bihar from 1990 to 2005. A World Bank report in the early 2000s placed Bihar at the bottom of most development matrix. Public services were severely underfunded and poorly staffed. But Lalu once said to his detractors that he might not have given the people of Bihar a swarg or heaven, but he had certainly given them swarg or voice.
लालू ने जो पिछड़ी जातियाँ थी, जो दलित थे, जो कमज़ोर लोग थे, दबे कुचले लोग थे, उनको एक वॉइस दी है, एक ताकत दी है, और इसीलिए तमाम आरोपों, जंगल राज, भ्रष्टाचार तमाम के बाद भी उनके पास वो कार्यकर्ता, वो आम आदमी उनके साथ जुड़ा हुआ है कि उन्हें एक आवाज़ वहाँ पर दी है जो एक अपर कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स बिहार में चलती थी उससे अलग।
When Nitish became chief minister, his initial policy focus centered on rebuilding roads, expanding access to education, and curbing crime. Welfare schemes and introduction of village-level public service delivery marked the early phase of his tenure. Lalu in power, or by proxy when his wife Rabri Devi was the chief minister from 2000 to 2005, meant a redistribution of political spoils to the traditionally deprived classes. But local government appointments, police and administrative posts, lucrative government contracts, real estate allotments, transport and liquor licenses, wherever there was money to be made, were cornered by influential Yadavs.
जो बिहार की राजनीति मोटे तौर पर जाति की राजनीति पर चल रही है, और नीतीश कुमार जो एक ज़माने तक जाति की राजनीति नहीं करते थे, आज वो पूरी तरह से ईबीसी एमबीसी को लेकर जाति की राजनीति पर आ गए। तो भले ही लालू 20 साल से सरकार में या बिहार की राजनीति से एक तरह से अलग हों, लेकिन राजनीति की जो छाप है उस पर लालू की मोहर अब भी लगी हुई है।
"20 years with Nitish Kumar, mostly at the helm, have not transformed Bihar into a model state, but the reforms he introduced and his general administrative efforts meant his admirers began to refer to him as Sushashan Babu, good governance man."
Very much a detail-oriented man. He had a vision of how he is going to rebuild Bihar. The problem is that when he became chief minister, Bihar was at rock bottom. So it took him a long time to get Bihar out of that morass of poverty. But I must say, if you look at one indicator, that is what we call economic growth rate, it has been phenomenal. Even today it's 14%, second highest among all the states. So the growth of Bihar under Nitish has been phenomenal, but because Bihar was at rock bottom, therefore even after 20 years, it continues to stay below most of the states on most majority indicators of development.
तेजस्वी अब की आई हैंगे, रोशन सवेरा लई हैंगे, आरजेडी अब की आई हैंगे, रोशन सवेरा लई हैंगे, नए का सुबह नए का।
Politics was not Tejashwi Yadav's first choice of career. He wanted to become a cricketer and had some initial success. But by the time he had turned 25, he had joined the family business of politics. In 2015, Lalu Yadav and Rabri Devi's second son contested his first election and became an MLA for the first time. 5 years later, he had become the biggest thorn in the side of Nitish. In 2020, Tejashwi narrowly missed the chance to become Bihar's youngest chief minister. Tejashwi carries the legacy as well as the cross for what his father stood for. As the juxtaposition to Nitish's school of politics, it has shown signs of working for him. This mix of legacy and cross. Tejashwi counters the cross of Lalu Yadav's so-called Jungle Raj style of governance with his own short but proven record of when he was the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, twice. He basks in the positive legacy of the socialist Lalu in being able to champion the underprivileged caste and classes of the Bihari population. And Tejashwi has youth on his side, both in his own self, being a young leader, and in his support base of youngsters. In contrast, Nitish Kumar is 74, with rumors of him having memory issues. And so continues the juxtaposition that is Bihar. And it is still between the two poles that have dominated contemporary politics in the state.
Well, Bihar is going to be on NDTV all day tomorrow because just days before the first phase of polling begins, NDTV Power Play is live all day from Patna tomorrow. Starting 7 a.m., the biggest conclave on ground in poll-bound Bihar, where the only event, the single NDTV stage, where you have Tejashwi Yadav, Amit Shah, Prashant Kishore and all the big Bihar warriors united on one single stage. That's on NDTV Power Play all day tomorrow, right here on NDTV 24/7. Padmaja Joshi is live from Patna on the other side on a special broadcast of The Buck Stops Here.
When it comes to elections, I am a journalist, analyst, commentator, and an advisor.
My point of view is not for the faint-hearted.
Nothing escapes my eyes. Not the leaders, not their agendas, not even the real game of elections.
हम सबको खबर देते हैं, हम सबकी खबर लेते हैं, चुनावों की भी, दावों की भी। बिहार की सोच, बिहार का फैसला।
पत्रकारिता का जो पहलू दिखता नहीं, वो हम दिखाते हैं।
इलेक्शंस की सारी खबरें मेरे साथ।
Watch me cover the Bihar battleground on NDTV 24/7.
In Bihar, bahut politics hai. The year's election super final. Can Jai Viru storm the palace? Or will Bihar double engine defend? Fierce fight, electric election. Biggest team, biggest coverage. Battleground Bihar on NDTV 24/7.
The most coveted invitation in the Indian corporate golf calendar, where top corporates go head-to-head with the finest professional golfers. An exclusive circuit across multiple cities, aspirational, unforgettable. NDTV Golf Pro-Am, India's #1 golf Pro-Am is here. The course of champions, the conversation of leaders. NDTV Golf Pro-Am, coming soon, stay tuned.
What seemed settled for me, is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig, until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. From where it all began. The first city of the world, where the Ganga flows. I'm coming to Varanasi to perform at the Namo Ghat. My first raga-based band, Jala, will also perform there. So book your tickets from District app and let's create harmony by the Ganga. See you, Varanasi.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France. In Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. And now, Aditya Raj Kaul begins.
Showcasing the NDTV 24/7 Prime Time, presented by Schneider Electric, Smart Home Solutions as studio partner.
Good evening and welcome. Thanks very much for tuning in to NDTV 24/7. I'm Padmaja Joshi, and on every story that matters, the buck stops here. And today, it is coming to you live from Patna. Tomorrow, you're going to see NDTV Power Play, where you will hear voices from the government, from the opposition at a time when you have political activity almost at its peak. And contributing to that, today was the day when you had the NDA coming up with its manifesto. They unveiled their manifesto and all focus should have been on it. After all, you've got only 1 week left, the final week before the first phase of polling happens for the elections in Bihar. But a cloud hung over the manifesto release because of a daylight murder that took place just kilometers away from the capital of Patna, the capital of Bihar, Patna. In Mokama, a man who was campaigning for the Jan Suraj candidate was shot dead in broad daylight, and which is why you had the entire Mahagathbandhan uniting to ask the government if they are now not only faceless and clueless but also rudderless. Again, that same question of Jungle Raj was asked to the government. What is it that you had the opposition saying about the manifesto release? Listen in, because one of the main things pointed out was, why did the Chief Minister not even speak? Most of the opposition called it a shoot and scoot, a 30-second manifesto release where it was left to Samrat Chaudhary to explain the finer points.
26 सेकंड के लिए आए थे नेता लोग, चले गए। फिर डिप्टी सीएम जो बीजेपी के हैं उन्होंने मैनिफेस्टो की फॉर्मेलिटी करी। इनका मैनिफेस्टो का मतलब है कि आप जो लिखा हुआ है इसके अंदर वादे करते हैं पब्लिक के साथ में हम निभाएंगे। अब आप बताइए, उसको इन्होंने बिना कमिटमेंट के इन्होंने जारी कर दिया। ये परंपरा होती है जो चुनाव पहले की, खाली परंपरा निभाने के लिए निभाई गई है। इनका इन वादों से कोई कमिटमेंट नहीं है। इतना बड़ा धोखा जनता को देना चाहते हैं ये लोग।
हम लोगों ने देखा कि मैनिफेस्टो जो है जारी जैसे किया गया वैसे ही ख़त्म भी हो गई, यानी 30 सेकंड के अंदर जो है इनकी घोषणा पत्र का जो कार्यक्रम था वो ख़त्म हो गया है। आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री जी को तो पता ही नहीं होगा कि उस घोषणा पत्र में क्या है, शायद उनको बोलने ना दिया जाए, इसलिए जो है जल्द से जल्द जो है ये ख़त्म कर लिया गया। नकल तो कर ही दी, हर एक चीज़ का नकल कर दिया। 1 करोड़ नौकरियां रोजगार देंगे, हमसे पूछते हैं कि कहाँ से देंगे, ये कहाँ से देंगे, तो ये तो बताएं।
Now, even on the law and order front, it was the ruling alliance which came in for plenty of flack, because for the murder of Lalu Prasad Yadav, the supporter of Jungle Raj candidate Piyush Priyadarshi, the blame for it is being placed at the door of JDU candidate from Mokama, Anand Singh. Now, you have to understand a little bit of the background of where this murder has taken place. An extremely contentious seat where both the RJD and the JDU have thrown in their lot with Bahubalis, both men who've had a criminal past. On the one hand, you've got Anand Singh being fielded from the JDU. On the other, the RJD has fielded Veena Devi, who is the wife of another local don, Suraj Bhan Singh. And in the midst of it, you had Piyush Priyadarshi, who was canvassing in the area, and Suraj Bhan Singh, and Lalu Prasad Yadav was earlier with the RJD, and now he was campaigning for the Jungle Raj. So in an extremely complicated and a political tinderbox situation, this murder has happened. Now, the important thing to note is that so far, even though the RJD is saying that this is the return of Jungle Raj, though they are saying that Lalu Prasad Yadav was shot dead, that he was killed simply because he was a Yadav, he's an OBC face, the police is saying that there is no confirmation of the fact that the cause of his death is because of bullet wounds. However, the fact is that even now you have got the big question being raised. Is this the return of Jungle Raj? Is the NDA too late in declaring their manifesto? And more importantly, what explained Nitish Kumar's silence even today?
मोकामा टाल के इलाके में जो भी घटना हुई वो निश्चित रूप से चिंतनीय है, पीड़ाजनक है, और पुलिस जो भी यथोचित कार्रवाई होगा बगैर राजनीतिक हस्तक्षेप के होगा। अपराध जिसने भी किया है उसने गुनाह किया है और गुनाह करने वाले को कार्रवाई होगी।
ये इस तरह की घटना चाहे किसी के भी द्वारा किया जाए, ये गलत है। कानून का राज है बिहार में, और गलत कोई भी करेगा तो कानून उसको सजा देगी।
ऐसी घटना तो हम समझते हैं कि जानबूझ करके राजद के लोग ऐसा कर रहे हैं। हमारे क्षेत्र में भी हमारे टेकारी के जो कैंडिडेट हैं उन पर कातिलाना हमला किया गया, 8-10 गाड़ियां चूर कर दी गई। हमारे अत्री के जो कैंडिडेट हैं उनके प्रचार गाड़ी को भी प्रचार के समय के बाद रोक लिया गया। नहीं, कोई लाइन ऑर्डर का कोई फेल्यूर नहीं है।
हम लोग टाल में वोट मांग रहे थे, रास्ता हम देखे कि 100 गाड़ी खड़ा है, तो उसके बाद हम मुझे कोई वोट होकुल मांग रहा है, तो हम लोग आए। तो उसके बाद मुर्दाबाद करे लगे, तभी हम कहे कुछ नहीं कोई बोलो, तो 30 गाड़ी हम आगे बढ़ गए, 10 गाड़ी बड़ा पाछू रह गया, उसको कुल मारना चूरना शुरू कर दिया। बहुत हुआ, हम लोग 40 गाड़ी आगू थे,
उसमें
पंजा को लंगड़ी में पहन लेता, रेलवे वाला को रोड़ा रख लेता, एकदम फूल तैयारी सूरज भान के यह था कि लड़ाई झगड़ा कैसे हो जाए तब वोट में ऐसे हो जाए। सूरज भान का ही खेला है।
And that brings us to the big questions on which the buck stops here on the Bihar campaign trail. The manifesto war is now underway with both the Mahagathbandhan and the NDA manifesto out. But who will the mandate favor? And on the eve of elections, is the shadow of Jungle Raj back? Joining us on the debate, we have Kuntal Krishna, spokesperson of the BJP in Bihar, Sameer Chaugankar, senior journalist, Amitabh Tiwari, founder of Vote Vibe and a political strategist, Manoj Kumar Betha, spokesperson of Jungle Raj, and Kanchana Yadav, spokesperson of the RJD. Kuntal Krishna, all the questions will be asked of you. Jungle Raj, that is what you describe the RJD rule as. But if in broad daylight now people are getting shot dead simply because they are campaigning for your rival political party, what will you call it?
Padmaja, we never called any Raj a Jungle Raj. It was Honorable Patna High Court which described Lalu and Tejashwi's father Raj as Jungle Raj. It was not us. It was Honorable High Court of Patna. Looking at the situation at that time, Honorable High Court Patna described that administration as Jungle Raj. See what happened yesterday. I do not want to be a part of the politics over dead body. Police is taking care of everything. FIR has been registered, investigation has been started, and we have started getting the result of the investigation also. Post-mortem report has come and it is indicating about something. Since investigation is in process, I will not speak, I will not reveal.
Jitin Ram Manjhi, he is saying that the RJD got Dular Chand Yadav killed.
Yeah.
He is directly blamed the RJD. Are you seriously saying that the RJD killed Dular Chand Yadav for supporting the Jungle Raj?
Padmaja, anything can happen. Anything can happen because RJD, they are into utter desperation. They are into utter desperation. It is not only, you please don't see this one incident in isolation. What is happening round the corner in Bihar? You know what their supporters are saying? आने दो भैया को पावर में कट्टा सटा के उठा लेंगे. What is this?
You have first, no sir, just a second. An ASI is found dead in Siwan. 2 men are shot dead in Ara. And then you have this happening in Mokama. Yeah. So in the last 24 hours itself, you have at least 3 crimes being reported. Padmaja, again, I am asking you, what do we call it?
Padmaja, yeah. Padmaja, in Bihar, rule is there. Okay. Police is taking care of things. FIR has been registered. You know what used to happen in Jungle Raj? There was a IAS officer, Mr. Vishwas. His wife, Champa Vishwas, was being raped for 2 years and no FIR was registered because Laluji was chief minister and police was under influence from CM's house not to register any FIR because the culprit was very close to Laluji. This was the situation in Jungle Raj. In Bihar right now, land of law is there. FIR has been registered and police will do whatever it should do.
Kanchana Yadav.
No, koi dabav nahi.
Is that today 5 people have already been booked, including the JDU candidate. अब सोचिए अनंत सिंह तो खुद उनके ही कैंडिडेट है, उनके गठबंधन के. उनके खिलाफ 4 लोगों के खिलाफ FIR हो गया है. पहले देखिए सालों तक क्राइम चलता रहता था. कोई रोक टोक ही नहीं थी. ये नहीं है जंगल राज. यहाँ लॉ एंड ऑर्डर है, but the law is taking its course. कंचना यादव.
पद्मजा जी, कितना कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग है ना कि एक तरफ दुनिया में पहले ऐसे नेता होंगे नीतीश कुमार जी जो सुशासन बाबू का तमगा लेकर चल रहे हैं, दूसरी तरफ जो है प्रिवेंशन ऑफ क्राइम नाम की कोई चीज़ ही नहीं है. पुलिस इज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ एवरीथिंग. FIR हैज़ बीन रजिस्टर्ड और जंगल राज नहीं है, ये पटना हाई कोर्ट ने कहा था. इनके पास 20 साल से, मुझे लगता है 2005 में जो ये एक टेप जो रिकॉर्ड किए होंगे ना, कैसेट, उसी को चला देते. आज बोलने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं थी 2025 में. अरे भाई, एक चलते चुनाव में एक जो है कि व्यक्ति की हत्या हुई है, सिवान में एसआई की हत्या हो गई है। कैन यू बिलीव इट? सिवान में एसआई की हत्या हो गई है, वही उसी सिवान में जहां पर योगी आदित्यनाथ जी जाकर रघुनाथपुर में बोलते हैं क्या कि ये तो अपराधियों को टिकट दिए, मवालियों को टिकट दिए हैं। तो हम इनसे पूछ रहे हैं ना कि अगर सुशासन बाबू थे तो इतना अपराधी बाहर कैसे हैं? और आप ही ने तो जेल का रूल बदल करके उन्हें बाहर निकाला था, टिकट दिया था, लड़ाया था और 100 राउंड गोलियां फायर की। मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है पद्मजा जी कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने ये रूल तय किया है कि 10 से ज्यादा एक कैंडिडेट के पास गाड़ियां नहीं होगी, तो इस कैंडिडेट अनंत सिंह के पास जो एक बाहुबली अपराधी है जिसको ये लोग छोटा सरकार कहते हैं, 40 गाड़ी कैसे है? और उसके गाड़ी में जो है कि वो AK-47 और तमाम गन्स कैसे मिले बिना लाइसेंस?
नहीं, पर कंचना जी लेट्स बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट ओवर हियर दैट यहाँ पे कोई भी दूध का धुला हुआ नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर आप अनंत सिंह की बुराइयां गिना रहे हैं और गिनानी भी चाहिए क्योंकि उनके खिलाफ केस है, भाई सजा याफ्ता है, वो जेल से छूटे हुए हैं, लेकिन सूरज भान सिंह और फॉर दैट मैटर दुलाल चंद ऑल्सो has got cases against him. What has the police said? Police is saying that संदिग्ध हालत में उनको वहां पर पाया गया, उनके खिलाफ भी कई सारे केसेस रजिस्टर्ड थे. So this is not a good versus evil fight. कहीं यहाँ पे कोई राजनीतिक शतरंज तो नहीं खेला जा रहा है.
मैं
एक जंगल राज का इंप्रेशन देने के लिए.
आई डोंट नो अबाउट द कॉन्स्पिरेसी पद्मजा जी, लेकिन एक चीज तो बहुत क्लियर है ना कि फिर दो चीजें एक साथ एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती. अगर आप सुशासन बाबू हैं तो अपराधी बाहर कैसे हैं, चाहे वो जिस पार्टी में भी हो. अगर आप सुशासन बाबू हैं तो सारे अपराधी जेल में होने चाहिए, उनको पनिशमेंट मिलना चाहिए. और सारे अपराधी अगर घूम रहे हैं, कोई एक अपराधी किसी और अपराधी का मर्डर कर रहा है, तो इसका मतलब आप सुशासन बाबू नहीं हैं. आप फिर आपने लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को नहीं सही से संभाला.
कुंतल कृष्णा रिस्पॉन्ड, देन आई वांट टू ओपन दिस अप. कुंतल कृष्णा.
या पद्मजा, कंचना जी, मैं आपको याद दिला देना चाहता हूं, शायद आपको याद नहीं आ रहा होगा चूंकि आंखों पे आपने लालटेन का चश्मा लगा रखा है. देयर इज नो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम नाउ इन बिहार. आपके समय वाली हालत नहीं थी कि पूरी की पूरी बस ही गायब हो जाती थी. आपके समय वाली हालत नहीं है कि देयर वाज मैडम an IAS officer's wife was raped for 2 years and your police did not even register an FIR. ये सच्चाई है. आपके यहाँ सीएम हाउस पेट्रोनाइज करता था क्राइम को. राइट नाउ देयर इज नो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम इन बिहार.
एरिया पटना में मारे जा चुके, गोपाल खेमका के घर पे घुस के मारे, हॉस्पिटल में घुस के मारे, और आपको और क्या सबूत चाहिए ये महाजंगल राज को दिखाने के लिए?
कंचना जी, अरे कंचना जी, जिन लोगों ने
ये बताइए जंगल राज तो एक टर्म है.
कंचना जी ये भी बता दीजिए जो अपराधी थे क्या हुआ.
अब एक सेकंड समीर जी देखिए,
कंचना जी आप ये भी बता देना, ये भी बता
दुलार
का क्या हुआ.
हाँ जी, एक तो सर हिस्ट्री सबने देखी है. वी हैव stories of what happened in 1995, what happened before 2005, 2002, what Shahabuddin did. We have heard all of those stories. The question is about today. समीर जी, सवाल ये है क्योंकि दो इमेजेस हैं, एक तो दुलाल चंद यादव की हत्या और दूसरी कि आज मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज में ये सवाल उठाया जा रहा है कि भाई नीतीश जी 30 सेकंड में क्यों निकल गए. कहने का मतलब ये है कि अब महागठबंधन ये कह रही है कि सीएम क्योंकि आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल हैं, इसीलिए इस तरीके का क्राइम पूरे प्रदेश में फैल रहा है. क्या आपको लगता है कि दुलाल चंद यादव तो सिर्फ एक सिम्टम है, डिजीज ज्यादा बड़ी है, या फिर लाइक आई सेड अर्लियर यहाँ राजनीतिक शतरंज खेला जा रहा है?
देखिए, बिहार के अंदर हमेशा से बाहुबलियों का दबदबा रहा था और चुनाव के समय तो बाहुबलियों को किस तरीके से राजनीतिक संरक्षण मिला है, बिहार इसका गवाह रहा है. और मुझे लगता है कि जब मोकामा में सूरज भान की पत्नी, जो सूरज भान खुद अंडरवर्ल्ड से जुड़े हुए रहे, उनकी पत्नी और अनंत सिंह चुनाव अगर लड़ेंगे तो ये तय है वहाँ फूलों की तो वर्षा होगी नहीं. दो अपराधी लड़ेंगे तो वहाँ बंदूक के गोला बारूद ही चलेगा. और मुझे लगता है कि प्रशासन को थोड़ा देखना चाहिए था कि दो बाहुबली अगर चुनाव मैदान में है तो किस तरीके से वहाँ पर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के सिचुएशन को लिया जाए. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि 1995 से लेकर लालू प्रसाद यादव का 96 जो लालू प्रसाद यादव का जो 15 साल रहा था, उसके तुलना में अगर आज नीतीश कुमार का शासन देखें तो बिहार बहुत आगे बढ़ चुका है. उस समय जिस तरीके से क्राइम सीएम हाउस से कंट्रोल होता था या देखा जाता था, साधु यादव ने किस तरीके से उस समय सीएम हाउस से क्राइम को अंजाम देते थे लालू के साले, वो बिहार के लोगों को याद है. और मुझे लगता है कि एक लंबा समय लगा है बिहार को इससे बाहर निकलने में. हालांकि ये बात भी सही है कि बिहार अभी पूरी तरीके से सुशासन की स्थिति में नहीं आया है, लेकिन बहुत बहुत बेहतर स्थिति के अंदर बिहार को फिलहाल मैं देख रहा हूं। अगर पिछले 10 से 15 साल की बात देखो, ठीक है छोटे क्राइम होते हैं और हर राज्य में होते हैं इस बात को, लेकिन जो संगठित अपराध और अपहरण उद्योग वसूली का जो बन गया था, जिसमें बड़े बड़े कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स और बड़े नेता शामिल थे, वह बिहार में अब नहीं है, क्योंकि नीतीश कुमार की खुद की छवि बहुत साफ सुथरी है। तो मुझे लगता है कि वो नीतीश कुमार और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को उस बात का क्रेडिट दिया जाना चाहिए। आज जब एनडीए का जो घोषणा पत्र आया,
आपको नहीं लगता कि नीतीश कुमार के हाथ से राज्य निकलता जा रहा है? बार बार तो वो यही कहते हैं ना। तेजस्वी यादव ने क्या बोला कि वो रिमोट कंट्रोल मुख्यमंत्री हैं। आज वो मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज में रुक करके उन्होंने एक शब्द नहीं बोला मैनिफेस्टो के ऊपर। क्या ये एक साइन है कि स्टेट ऑन रिमोट कंट्रोल है?
नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता कि स्टेट रिमोट कंट्रोल में है। नीतीश कुमार लगातार रिलीज कर रहे हैं, नीतीश कुमार पब्लिक से बात भी कर रहे हैं, कहीं रिमोट कंट्रोल नजर नहीं आता। ये ठीक है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी बड़ी पार्टी इस समय और सबसे बड़े दल के रूप में लड़ रही है, केंद्र में सत्ता में है, तो निश्चित रूप से भारतीय जनता पार्टी कई विषयों पर नीतीश कुमार को इंस्ट्रक्ट करती होगी। लेकिन यह कहा जाए कि नीतीश कुमार पूरी कठपुतली बन चुके हैं, रिमोट कंट्रोल दिल्ली या बीजेपी के पास है, मुझे सही नहीं मानता। आज अगर यह कहा जाए कि भाई 30 सेकंड का जो मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज हुआ है उसमें नीतीश कुमार ने क्यों नहीं दिया, तो मुझे लगता है कि भाई ये महत्व का नहीं रहता कि 30 सेकंड का है। 60 महीने का किया, 5 साल की सरकार ने कहा क्या, जनता वो काम देखती है और जनता नीतीश कुमार को वोट इस आधार पर देगी कि 5 साल
साथ रैली कर रहे हैं।
मैनिफेस्टो 30 सेकंड में रिलीज किया है।
नीतीश जी एक दिन में 2-2 से लेकर के 7-7 रैली कर रहे हैं और आप कह रहे हैं कि वो अक्षम है, that he is incapable of running the state।
पद्मजा जी, हमने तो ये भी देखा है कि मंच पे जो है वो जब बोलने के लिए खड़े होते हैं तो सारे उनके नेता एकदम चौकन्ने से हो जाते हैं कि कहीं नीतीश कुमार जी कुछ गलत ना बोल जाए। इवन जब माला पहनाने को हो रहा था एक कैंडिडेट को, तो पीछे से उनके जो सुपर सीएम बन चुके हैं संजय झा जी, वो रोकने की कोशिश करते हैं। और वो रैलियों में कितना बोलते हैं, आप बता दीजिए ना। कोई उनकी ऐसी रैली जिसमें उन्होंने, हाँ, बिहार के 20 साल उन्होंने क्या दिया और आगे 5 साल में वो क्या देंगे, वो कुछ बोले हो?
समीर जी कह रहे काम कर रहे हैं ना।
अरे
भाई, थोड़े बहुत इधर 1-2 एपिसोड्स हो रहे हैं, समीर जी कह रहे हैं काम तो चल रहा है।
पद्मजा जी, आपको नहीं लगता कि जो व्यक्ति 20 साल से सीएम हो, अगर उसका मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज हो रहा हो तो उसको बहुत गर्व से आकर अपने 20 साल के कामों को गिना देना चाहिए था और फिर आने वाले 5 साल का विजन बता देना चाहिए था? आपको नहीं लगता? और ये क्या किसी भी मंच पर
मुझे लगता है अगर ये बात अगर कंचना जी पूछ रही है कि भाई नीतीश कुमार को बोलना था, तो जब इनका महागठबंधन का मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज हुआ तो राहुल गांधी क्यों नहीं आए? राहुल गांधी आकर भी बोलते कि मैनिफेस्टो हमने भविष्य के बिहार के लिए बिना बिहार में हम ये देने वाले। राहुल गांधी खुद मैनिफेस्टो में आते नहीं है। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये सिर्फ ये प्रश्न नहीं है कि नीतीश कुमार ने क्या नहीं बोला। मैनिफेस्टो में आप देखिए महिलाओं के लिए, किसानों के लिए बाढ़ से मुक्त करने की वादा किया गया है। 1 करोड़ महिलाओं को लखपति दीदी बना का किया है। केजी से लेकर पीजी तक की फ्री शिक्षा की बात की है। मतलब युवा वर्ग के लिए, किसान के लिए किसान सम्मान राशि 6,000 से बढ़ा के 10,000 करने का जिक्र किया है। हर वर्ग के लिए प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने जो घोषणा अपने इसमें करवाई है, तो मुझे लगता है कि जनता उसे देखेगी। नीतीश कुमार ने क्या बोला क्या नहीं बोला, ये बहुत मायने नहीं रखता है।
पद्मजा जी 20 सेकेंड, मैं इस पे एक जवाब देना चाहती हूँ कि 5 साल में ये 1 करोड़ महिलाओं को लखपति दीदी बना देंगे, 20 साल में ये 6 करोड़ को नहीं बना पाए। मतलब फेयर आपको दिख रहा है कि 20 साल में 6 करोड़ महिलाओं को लखपति नहीं बना पाया, लेकिन 5 साल में 1 करोड़ को बना देंगे। ये कुछ तो इनका फॉर्मूला होगा ना। और नीतीश कुमार जी, मेरा तो सीधा राहुल गांधी जी क्यों नहीं है आप ये पूछ रहे हैं ना। तो राहुल गांधी जी इवन अपने स्टेट का उनका जो इलेक्शन होता है वहाँ के भी मैनिफेस्टो में कहीं नहीं जाते। आपने कितने में देखा हुआ है। लेकिन प्राइम मिनिस्टर को तो आज होना चाहिए था। प्राइम मिनिस्टर तो जेपी नड्डा जी को भेज दिए थे, खुद नहीं जाए। जानते हैं क्यों? क्योंकि
नड्डा जी थे ना,
प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस,
बीजेपी प्रेसिडेंट थे। अरे और आपके मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज में खड़गे जी थे क्या? आपके मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज में कांग्रेस
प्राइम मिनिस्टर
तेजस्वी हर घर 100 सरकारी नौकरी देंगे।
नहीं, प्राइम मिनिस्टर
जी तेजस्वी जी हर घर से सरकारी नौकरी देंगे। हर घर से सरकारी नौकरी तेजस्वी देंगे। कैसे देंगे आप बता दीजिए।
कभी एक सिंगल
लेट अस स्पीक प्लीज, लेट अस स्पीक।
दैट्स व्हाई वो उसमें पार्टिसिपेट।
कंचना जी एक जवाब दे दीजिए, हर घर से सरकारी नौकरी तेजस्वी कैसे देंगे? तेजस्वी ने कहा है ना हर घर से एक सरकारी नौकरी, कैसे देंगे आप बता दीजिए।
हम हर घर से सरकारी नौकरी देंगे। हम मोदी जी थोड़ी ना है कि जो बस जुमला करे। हमने 17 महीने में 5 लाख सरकारी नौकरी दी, मात्र 17 महीने में, एक डिपार्टमेंट से। एजुकेशन मिनिस्ट्री से, प्लस एक डिपार्टमेंट हमारे पास था जिससे हमने 5 लाख नौकरी दी। हम 2.5 करोड़ परिवारों को सरकारी नौकरी देंगे। और ये सोचिए ना, जब हम 1.5 करोड़ 1,41,000 जीविका दीदियों को सरकारी गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय स्टेटस का दर्जा दे रहे हैं, आप उनको क्या सरकारी नौकरी में कंसीडर करोगे या नहीं करोगे? 1 करोड़ 41 लाख जीविका दीदी, उनको गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय स्टेटस का दर्जा मिलेगा। आप कहाँ से देंगे? हम आपको रोड मैप भी दे देंगे, लेकिन जरा मोदी जी से पूछिएगा ना 2 करोड़ कहाँ से, अभी 1 करोड़ का बात कर रहे थे ना, 20 साल में कितने करोड़ दिए, क्यों आने वाले 5 साल में जो है 1 करोड़ नौकरी दे देंगे। तो एक तरफ क्रेडिबिलिटी है और एक तरफ जुम्मेदारी वाले लोग हैं। देखेंगे।
Okay, Kanchana ji, although we have had this debate over and over about government jobs, but I will again repeat a very interesting data point, which is that 2.5 lakh crore jobs is what you are, 2.5 crores, pardon me, not 2.5 lakh crores. Yeah. 2.5 crore government jobs is what you have promised in Bihar, as opposed to 17,88,000 government jobs in Uttar Pradesh, 9 lakh government jobs in Tamil Nadu, 8 lakh government jobs in Andhra Pradesh, 8 lakh in Bihar,
can I come
8 lakh in Rajasthan, and I did a rough back of the envelope calculation. Just a second. Do you know that currently all the government jobs in India together are less than 2.5 crores that you are promising in Bihar alone? But like you said, you are going to present a roadmap about it when you come into power, and you are going to bring a law. We will wait for that roadmap. I want to bring in Amitabh Tiwari now. Amitabh Tiwari, again going back to the issue of Dular Chand Yadav's murder. Now this is also a very interesting case where you have a Jitin Ram Manjhi saying that this is politically orchestrated by RJD. The caste calculations there are extremely interesting. You've got 2 Bahubali Bhumihars fighting from the JDU and the RJD. You have an EBC from Jan Suraj, and then you have an OBC, a Yadav, who is campaigning for the Jan Suraj candidate. Do you see some pattern emerging from this? Could there be any kind of conspiracy, or is this something that the government is hiding behind?
No, I mean, if there is any conspiracy, then it is for the Bihar police to unearth. I mean, I will not be in a position to answer this. It's an unfortunate incident anyways. I think this incident has fired up the debate on Jungle Raj. So if you see, one of the biggest structural bottleneck of the Mahagathbandhan or the RJD is the allegation of Jungle Raj during its 1990 to 2005 tenure. Before the SIR in Bihar, there were a spate of incidents wherein a businessman and a criminal, I think, was murdered in a hospital, and there was a lot of debate around law and order at that point of time. So whenever incidents like these happen, the Mahagathbandhan or the RJD feels that it is a moment that they should try to neutralize the allegations made by the NDA on the Jungle Raj. That's why we see politics and accusations and counter allegations on this issue, that whether the Nitish government has been able to really improve the law and order or not, because RJD sees this as an opportunity. On the caste aspect which you mentioned, I think this can have an impact on nearby constituencies, because now it could translate into one caste or community versus the other in Bihar. Correct, because as you mentioned, 2 Bhumihar or strongmen from Bihar community, which is the upper caste, are contesting, and EBC from Jan Suraj is contesting, and the person who has unfortunately died belongs to the Yadav Samaj or community. So this has the potential of snowballing into a major caste versus caste battle in the nearby constituencies, and even if this is not solved very early, then it also could snowball into a larger forward versus backward narrative in the entire state of Bihar. So I think both the alliances, I mean, it is unfortunate, but would try to milk it politically as well.
Answer that, Kuntal Krishna. This is not just about the image of Jungle Raj. This could seriously turn the election as well, in the manner that Amitabh Tiwari described.
Padmaja, first I would like to go back to the manifesto. I was asking for the time which you did not give to me. आज हमने जो संकल्प पत्र जारी किया है ना, this is in continuation with the work which we have been doing for last 2 decades. When we talk about making 1 crore of Lakhpati Didis, मैं आपको बता देना चाहता हूं कि ये जो जीविका दीदियों का समूह है ना, this is about 1.40 crores, and you know the market capitalization which they did, domestic market capitalization, it is around 50 lakh crores. 50,000 करोड़ का मार्केट उन लोगों ने कैपिटलाइज किया हुआ है जीविका दीदी ने, 50,000 करोड़ का मार्केट. इसलिए हम कह रहे हैं कि वी विल बी एबल टू मेक 2 लाख लखपति दीदीज इन नेक्स्ट फ्यू ईयर्स. हमारा ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है काम करने का, और हमने जो आज संकल्प पत्र जारी किया है वो अपने ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड के बेस पे है, हमारे विजन के साथ है. उस टाइप से नहीं है कि चांद ला देंगे तारे ला देंगे. जब आपको मेयर प्रोमिसेस ही करने हैं तो फिर तो आप कुछ भी कह दीजिए.
मुख्यमंत्री जी
सरकारी नौकरियां 3.25 करोड़, 2 करोड़ 75 लाख कहां से आएंगे?
ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड डेप्यूटी सीएम को नहीं सुनाना चाहिए था, सीएम साहब को सुनाना चाहिए था. ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड ये पूरा बखान सीएम साहब को करना चाहिए.
क्यों मैडम, क्यों पद्मजा जी?
आप
नहीं पद्मजा जी, क्यों? व्हाई नॉट? हु विल डिसाइड? We are very much part of the government.
क्योंकि वो मुखिया
No. We are very much part of the government.
पद्मजा ये
साहब उनके कारण ही तो ये सारा हो रहा है. उनके कारण ही तो सारा हो रहा है. He was there for that press conference ना. He was there for that press conference ना. We are very much united. हम महागठबंधन की तरह नहीं है कि तेजस्वी का प्राण पत्र.
Conference for the 26 second only. The person who ruled Bihar 20 years.
साहब आपके यहाँ तो कुछ नहीं था. Rahul Gandhi has to be find out. Where is Rahul Gandhi is?
Rahul Gandhi, he is not.
आपके यहाँ तो तस्वीर ढूंढनी पड़ेगी.
Minister of Bihar, but Nitish Kumar was.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, Manoj Betha. Sorry, you joined us a little late. There was a problem with your audio.
Yes.
Go on.
Now it's okay.
But now you are under the spotlight. Manoj Betha.
Yeah.
Is this a conspiracy? What's happening?
Yeah, this is conspiracy because we are just raising the questions on Bihar government and the political system over here that last 35 years we have given tickets to the criminals and Bahubalis. And that's what is happening right now also. Despite a lot of problems happening in Bihar, problem of migrations, they are not thinking about it. Problem of education system is corrupted, we are not thinking about it. The problem of the entire health system is corrupted, we are not talking about it. When Jungle Raj started talking about these kind of problems that is happening in Bihar, Bihar is suffering like that one. Because when we go out of Bihar, we are get insulted.
But which state Mr. Manoj is talking about?
Just a minute, you got ample time. Give me time to explain it. Because 20 years we have
Betha साहब किस स्टेट की बात कर रहे हैं आप?
20 years we have
Betha साहब, which state you are talking about?
Still, Bihar coming the last
20 साल पहले के बिहार की बात कर रहे हैं.
20 years we are.
Are you talking about Bihar which was there in 1995?
Now what
2000? किस स्टेट, किस जगह की बात कर रहे हैं आप?
Got the allegations that he has killed the supporter of Jungle Raj. Why you are doing all those things? Why you giving the tickets to the criminals? And he has a lot of criminal records. He has a lot of allegations on it, and you are given ticket to them. And what kind of law and order?
आपने मैनिफेस्टो अपना रिलीज कर दिया है?
Don't talk about law and order.
आपने मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज कर दिया है?
20 years back. That's why we have taken NDA back, so that we wanted law and order situation should be controlled.
आपने मैनिफेस्टो रिलीज कर दिया है अपना?
Law and situation is not controlled in Bihar. You are just speaking about the things. It's in 1990 when you are talking about Jungle Raj. In 1990, Bihar was the last in the list of all the states. In 2025, Bihar is standing in the same positions. What progress you have done?
Okay, Mr. Betha, just a second, because I want to play out. You know, the way this entire last 24 hours have been very complicated politically. The first allegation was that there was stone pelting between two sides, the cavalcade of Anand Singh and that of Piyush Priyadarshi, the Jungle Raj and the JDU candidates. Then suddenly RJD started saying that he's been shot dead, Dular Chand Yadav. Now here is what the doctors are saying. This is very, very interesting because there is conspiracy theories about what really is happening in Bihar. Is this being done deliberately to create a narrative? Is there more to this than meets the eye? I want to quickly play this out for you.
हमारे उपाधीक्षक महोदय के निगरानी में 3 चिकित्सा पदाधिकारियों का बोर्ड बनाया गया, डॉक्टर रोहन कुमार, डॉक्टर दिलीप कुमार और मेरा डॉक्टर अजय कुमार सिंह का। तो उसमें हम लोगों ने किया है एग्जामिनेशन और रिपोर्ट भी दे दिए हैं, तो रिपोर्ट अब लिख दिए हैं, जो संबंधित थाना जो है रिसीव कर सकना है।
तो कहा जाता है कि पहले एक्सरे करवाया गया उसके बाद कुछ?
जी जी, उनको कई जगह चोट था और तो नियमतः जहाँ इंजरी जितनी थी उसके हिसाब से एक्सरे करवाया गया। एक्सरे का रिपोर्ट आना अभी बाकी है। हम लोगों ने फिल्म देखा है और जो पीएम पूरे बोर्ड के 3 लोगों ने किया है तो पूरा हो चुका है और रिटर्न रिपोर्ट जब तैयार होता है
तो ग्रामीण इस पर कह रहा है कि पुलिस इंक्वेस्ट में गोली की बात जिक्र की गई है।
जी, एक गोली पैर में लगी हुई है, लेकिन वो गोली जानलेवा नहीं है, ठीक है। पैर में लगी है, गोली आर पार है घुटना पर, ये क्या उसको बोलते हैं, एंकल जॉइंट।
शरीर पर कई जगह चोट के निशान पाए गए हैं।
हाँ, लेसरेटेड वुंड मतलब कि छिलाया हुआ जख्म है शरीर में कई जगह।
गोली एक ही लगी है?
हाँ, गोली एक।
Okay, very interesting turn of events. I'm completely out of time, so I'll have to thank all gentlemen and Kanchana Yadav. But now the doctor is saying that the murder, which has become the fulcrum of the political churning in Bihar right now, the cause of death is not a bullet. He got a bullet injury, but it was in his ankle. But that is not what killed this Jan Suraj supporter. Game of Thrones is still on and it's only getting more heated in Bihar. Thanks very much for joining us. Quick break. On the other side, we will talk about the RSS phobia that has now reached a peak, and believe it or not, ban RSS calls are hot again.
मजे को दुगुना करना है, मजे को 3 गुना करना है। गाजी, रोहन, दोबारा से।
The battle for Bihar is on. Bihar on a turning pitch, or captain stays the same. NDTV hosts the biggest pre-poll event. Bihar's warriors, challengers and biggest faces live. NDTV Power Play Bihar. Unmissable in Patna, November 1st.
We unveil NDTV Golf Pro-Am, India's #1 golf Pro-Am, the course of champions, the conversation of leaders.
What a stellar lineup we have here on the stage of the NDTV World Summit to announce the launch of the NDTV Pro-Am. Arguably India's greatest cricketer, one of India's most distinguished bureaucrats, a top international golfer and also a top Indian pro at the moment. One administrator who's doing more to lift the profile of Indian golf than anyone has in the recent years.
All the top champions, the Tiger Woods, will all come from India in future.
It's great to be here. Golf is growing across the globe and here in India as well.
Whereas now the opportunities are increasing a lot.
Thank you very much. You're starting golf. We want to thank you.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
I think that's very, very important.
When it comes to elections, I am a journalist, analyst, commentator, and an advisor.
My point of view is not for the faint-hearted.
Nothing escapes my eyes. Not the leaders, not their agendas, not even the real game of elections.
Welcome back. Today, on the occasion of Ekta Divas, the Prime Minister was in Kevadia. When he was speaking about the contribution of Sardar Patel to nation building, he also spoke about what has systematically happened over the last 7 decades and more. And in particular, he spoke about a cancel culture that hasn't started now. That existed right since after independence, where he said that there were organizations, if they didn't agree with the ideology of one party and one parivar, they were singled out, they were identified, and then they were simply cancelled. They were turned into political untouchables. राजनीतिक अछूत उनको बना दिया जाता था, and that, he said, is exactly what has happened to the RSS as well. And right on cue, soon after, when Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge was asked about the Prime Minister's statement about the RSS and about it being cancelled, guess what? He actually said, my personal opinion is that the RSS should indeed be banned.
आजादी के बाद जिन लोगों को देश ने दायित्व सौंपा, उन्हीं लोगों ने वी द पीपल की स्पिरिट की हत्या करने का प्रयास किया। उन्होंने अपनी सोच और विचारधारा से अलग हर व्यक्ति और संगठन का तिरस्कार किया, उसे डिस्क्रेडिट करने की कोशिश की। आरएसएस के 100 वर्ष पूरे हुए हैं। संघ पर भी कैसे कैसे हमले किए गए, षड्यंत्र किए गए। एक पार्टी, एक परिवार के बाहर हर व्यक्ति और हर विचार को अछूत बनाने की भरसक कोशिश हुई।
आरएसएस पर प्रतिबंध लगाना चाहिए, लगाया जाना चाहिए एक बार फिर से।
अब मेरा वैयक्तिक विचार है और मैं खुल के बोलूंगा, लगाना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये वल्लभ भाई पटेल जो चीजें हमारे सामने रखी है, अगर उसको मर्यादा प्रधानमंत्री देते हैं, शाह देते हैं, तो इसको होना चाहिए। क्योंकि आज देश में जो कुछ गड़बड़ियां हो रही है और देश में जो कुछ लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का प्रॉब्लम भी क्रिएट हो रहा है, ये सब बीजेपी और आरएसएस की वजह से।
And that brings us to the big questions. Is the cancel culture against the RSS still pretty much the same? What had happened in 1947 is still happening in 2025. Being cancelled, being blackballed, being turned into a political untouchable only because their ideology doesn't agree with the party or one parivar. Joining us is Ashok Gowda from the BJP. We also have Deepak Thimaiya joining us from the Congress, and Sameer Chaugankar, senior journalist, continues with us. Deepak Thimaiya, you know, it started with Karnataka, Priyank Kharge asking for a ban in Karnataka, and now you have the Congress president saying that after all of these years, he wants a ban on the RSS. Why? You've literally had an entire period where there were attempts to try and stop the RSS in Karnataka. Ironically, today, in the very backyard of Mr. Kharge in Juxtaposing, an RSS march was carried out after the court asked that permission be given. And yet you're still harboring that dream?
Mr. Joshi, the way you're talking about it, it's almost like you're celebrating that this opportunity is being given in Juxtaposing. But let me tell you, Mr. Kharge very clearly expressed that it is personal opinion. He was not saying that that's what he wants in terms of, you know, whether when he comes to power or whether he wants his government to do it or whether he wants his party to do it or whatever. He's a seasoned politician who has seen the kind of things that this country has gone for such a long time, and I'm sure that he's entitled to his opinion. And let me tell you, it is such a shameful thing that the people who are banned by Sardar Patel ji, they themselves are today extolling his virtues and saying that, you know, I mean, it is basically like, you know, I mean, it's a Congress party that was against the RSS, and as if Mr. Patel was completely in favor of the RSS. You know very well, Mahatma Gandhi ji was
and that's the reason why that he also lifted the ban. Mr. Thimaiya.
No, but it's
Sardar
okay.
Patel also lifted the ban on the RSS.
But who put the ban?
You exclude that point. And two things. You said, am I celebrating? Yes, I am celebrating because nobody's fundamental rights should be curbed. And that is exactly what the court has done. When you went to court trying to stop the RSS's march, the court actually said that this is not right. It should be allowed to happen. Point number one. Point number two is if you're saying that Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge's opinion is his personal one, Priyank Kharge authorized, in an authorized fashion, wrote to the Chief Minister of Karnataka and demanded the same ban. So whether it's at the state level or national level, it's what the Prime Minister said. You want to cancel the RSS.
Are you also celebrating the fact that a person who was aligned with the RSS was also responsible for killing Mahatma Gandhi ji? Because, you know, he had the right to do it, or it was his personal choice, or because, you know, maybe he felt that his personal rights and, you know, his religious freedom were being infringed upon?
Actually, Mr. Timaya, again you are being economical with the truth over there. No, because Nathuram Godse was not a member of the RSS at the time that he killed Gandhi ji.
So are you defending
He was not a member
Nathuram
of the
Godse?
RSS, and guess who said that? Sardar Patel himself. No, I'm clarifying facts, sir. I'm clarifying facts.
Are you defending Nathuram Godse?
I'm not.
That's
I'm
all that I
clarifying
want
facts.
to know.
Hold on a second. That's a very convenient turn of phrase that you are using. But do you know who said that Nathuram Godse is not a member of the RSS? Sardar Patel. Are you suggesting that Sardar Patel defended Nathuram Godse and the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi? I am quoting Sardar Patel. Now?
Because RSS is a voluntary organization and nobody takes membership by paying a fee and nobody actually registers in. So certainly that legally Nathuram Godse was not the member of the RSS like most of us are not. But let me tell you here, the question is that what RSS's ideology says. Let me tell you very clearly, if you're saying that RSS doesn't have an ideology, perfectly all right. Let me agree with you. But if the RSS has an ideology, a bunch of thoughts certainly say something, and that is what people have been having apprehensions about. Let me tell you, people like Mr. Kharge certainly are well within their rights to express that RSS should be banned. Like I'm sure that a lot of other organizations also have to be banned. But let me tell you here, I can't hear you.
Mr. Gowda, respond. This was his personal opinion. This was Mr. Kharge's personal opinion.
Simple. Kharge should answer about what is happening in Karnataka. His own supporter, that is Mallikarjun Kharge's right-hand man, Nazir Ahmad won the Rajya Sabha seat. And in the Vidhan Sabha, they shouted Pakistan Zindabad. And what did Priyanka Kharge and the entire team said? Oh, it is not Pakistan Zindabad, it is Nazir Sahib Zindabad. That was a statement. They are okay with the PFI. They are okay with the STPI. They are the people who withdraw the cases and the people who built the stones on police station. Believe me, on police station. So they are okay with all those things. But they have a problem with the ideology which wants to bring back Bharatiyate in this country, wherein we have celebrated and we have been number one in most of our cultural practices and most of our ecosystems. Meaning to say, our education system, we were number one for almost 9,500 years. And as well as you count on anything, on our knowledge space, we were number one. This is what is the ideology of RSS, which says that we want to revive back and we want to bring back Indianness in every philosophy of every Indian who believes in Bharatiyate. This is what is the ideology, nothing else. We treat everybody, whoever is part of this country, as one person and who lives for the country, and that is what RSS is. And if this thought is to be banned, and then that means that Mallikarjun Kharge should question his own thought, who attacked his parents, who killed his mother, and who also killed his siblings. They are the people. What do the Khargeji say for such people? And this is all one part. And now let's come to this part of Priyanka Kharge. I don't know why Mallikarjun Kharge is speaking like this, because Priyanka Kharge definitely does all these things, and we know that, like, you know, he disqualifies himself from 12th pass to 10th pass. Then probably in the next election he will file it as an 8th pass. So that is Priyanka Kharge. But Mallikarjun Kharge, we thought that he's a senior leader, who is a seasoned leader, and for 5 decades he has lived with the people of India, and he understands the pulses of the Indians. So with Mallikarjun Kharge's experience, we never thought that he's going to say such statements.
Mr. Thimaiya, Mr. Kharge should have known better. Mallikarjun Kharge should have known better because he knows history better and should rise above politics. At least narrow politics of this kind. And let me actually quote to you from a letter. Since you were saying that I am trying to defend Nathuram Godse, let me quote to you from this letter verbatim. A letter that Sardar Patel himself, since we're all remembering him today, wrote on the 5th of February 1948. He said, I have shot off telegrams to states to ban the RSS and issued instructions to draft legislation to ban drilling and parading in semi-military uniforms. But the Sangh is not involved in Gandhi's assassination. However, it had distributed sweets after the incident. This, I think, is like spreading communal poison, even though I suspect that a section of Muslims is also not loyal to India. Those were very different times.
Okay.
Mr. Thimaiya. Okay. And you know, when you are quoting things about why the RSS was banned, one, Nathuram Godse was not RSS.
Can I speak?
Two,
yes,
the RSS, some members distributed sweets because of which Sardar Patel banned them. Yes. And three, the same Sardar Patel also said that a section of Muslims is also very problematic. I doubt their loyalty. That you don't tell me, you know?
Let me answer. The thing is that if one Nathuram Godse kills, it is nothing to do with the RSS at all, because that's one person and he could have been, he may not have been with the RSS. But let me tell you, but if some Muslims do something, the whole Islamic community has done it, correct? That logic holds perfectly well. Because when it's convenient, if one person does it, it doesn't really reflect on the whole community. But if some people are terrorists in a certain community, the whole community becomes absolutely abhorrible. Let me tell you very simple. Let me finish it, please.
This is actually a political statement by you.
Please give me my time.
You will link a non-related Nathuram Godse to the RSS, and then you will demonize an entire community when somebody in their midst is pointed out as problematic.
How is even Mr. Ashok Gowda related to RSS? Does he have a membership card or does he have a registration certificate? Does he have anything? He doesn't. Like any other person who is associated with the RSS, you don't have anything to prove. You don't have anything to prove that you are an RSS person.
What's your point?
What you're trying to say is that
Ashok Gowda doesn't have a membership card. Why should the RSS be banned? Why should the RSS be banned?
I cannot defend Mr. Khargeji's personal opinion because he's very clearly stated it's a personal opinion. Do you think that I can actually tell him that why he said what he said?
Priyank Kharge didn't call it a personal opinion. Priyank Kharge called it very much his official opinion.
Mr. Priyank Kharge never asked for the ban of RSS. Mr. Priyank Kharge only said that in public spaces you should not be using, and that should apply to every other organization. He did not call for the ban of the RSS. It is basically the media that totally got it confused, as well as completely twisted it and started saying it was he called for a ban of the RSS. He even said that he was not living in a dictatorial when he set up.
So let me ask you, since you're the Congress representative here, and we'll end this debate. You are saying the Congress doesn't want a ban on the RSS. Is that right, Mr. Thimaiya?
That is what I said, because the Congress party as such has not asked for either a ban or no ban. It is basically at this situation, Mr. Priyank Kharge as a minister has specifically told that, it should be banned from conducting activities in public spaces because, first of all, it's been, seeding these ideas of discord and, Hindu supremacy and things like that, which is not good for the country. And I'm sure that as a mature, sensible person, anybody should be able to understand for a democratic
country, don't agree with you.
This kind of parochial interest won't work at all.
For today's march to happen in Chittapur. Mr. Thimaiya, that may be your opinion, but unfortunately for you, the courts don't agree. The courts haven't agreed earlier. When in emergency the Congress banned the RSS, the courts didn't agree in 1993 when you tried to pin the blame on RSS. At that time the ban was overturned, and even now when you're trying to stop their marches, you are not getting the validation from courts. And just to be clear about history again, from that same letter trail, sorry, go on.
Courts can be questioned too, Ms. Joshi. The thing is that the ultimate court is the constitution of the country. Yeah. Let me tell you only one small thing.
But isn't it ironic that from 1993 to 2025, every time you have tried to take on the RSS, the courts have shot down your attempt? Isn't it ironic that it's been what? It's been 50 years and you've been trying to ban the RSS.
The court has shot down a lot of BJP's proposals too.
The courts shoot you down.
The court has questioned bulldozing.
Sir, where are you going into bulldozing? Courts have also questioned many riots that have happened on your watch if we go down that road. But let me again quote another part of that letter correspondence between Sardar Patel and Nehruji. You know, subsequently, when Sardar Patel defended the RSS and said Nathuram Godse wasn't involved in the assassination, RSS wasn't involved in the assassination, Nehruji wrote back and said Gandhi's assassination was part of a much wider campaign organized by the RSS. Many in the Delhi police also seem to be sympathetic to the Sangh. You know what Sardar Patel wrote back? Sardar Patel emphatically wrote, the RSS was not involved at all. It was a fanatical wing of the Hindu Mahasabha directly under Savarkar that hatched the conspiracy. Gandhi's assassination was welcomed by some who were strongly opposed to Gandhiji's way of thinking, but beyond this, I do not think it is possible to implicate any other members of the RSS. The RSS have other sins to answer for, but not the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. क्या ये सच है?
You're vindicating Congress, let me tell you, Ms. Joshi, because you are basically you're vindicating
बिल्कुल और देखिए जब महात्मा गांधी की हत्या पर जब आरएसएस पे प्रतिबंध नेहरू के दबाव पर पटेल ने लगाया तो पटेल ने बाद में कहा कि आरएसएस का कोई इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं है इसके अंदर, हम एक काम करते हैं, हम आरएसएस का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाने के लिए बोलते हैं, आरएसएस अपना संविधान बनाएगा और हम उसका बैन हटा देते हैं। नेहरू तैयार नहीं थे, लेकिन सरदार पटेल ने कहा कि आरएसएस की कोई भूमिका नहीं है, नाथूराम गोडसे हिंदू महासभा से जुड़ा हुआ है, उसका आरएसएस से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, और संघ ने फिर अपना संविधान बनाया और उसके बाद संघ से बैन हटा। इमरजेंसी में जब संघ पर फिर बैन लगा तो जयप्रकाश नारायण ने कहा था इंदिरा गांधी से कि संघ का इससे क्या लेना देना है कि आप आरएसएस पे आपने बैन लगाया। 1993 में जब बाबरी मस्जिद हुआ तब संघ पर बैन लगा और तीनों बार कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट ने बैन लगाया, कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट ने बैन हटाया। और फ्रॉम 1948 टू 2018 आप देखिए 2018 में प्रणब मुखर्जी तो कांग्रेस के नेता रहे, देश के राष्ट्रपति रहे, नागपुर जाते हैं 2018 में और प्रणब मुखर्जी का जो स्पीच था नागपुर में संघ के प्रोग्राम में वो ध्यान से सुनना चाहिए। उन्होंने बहुत स्पष्ट कहा कि संघ कभी भी देश विरोधी गतिविधियों में इन्वॉल्व नहीं रहा है, प्रधानमंत्री की हत्या में संघ की कोई भूमिका नहीं थी। प्रणब मुखर्जी ने कहा कि जो संघ के ऊपर जो प्रतिबंध लगे मुझे लगता है वो बहुत गलत तरीके से लगे गए थे। और 1962
जो आज प्रधानमंत्री ने केवड़िया में कहा, इसेंशियली वो क्या कह रहे थे? ये तो कह रहे थे कि भाई कैंसल कल्चर है, क्योंकि ये सब गांधी जी की हत्या वगैरह तो एक बहाना है। सच में आपको संघ पसंद ही नहीं है, आप किसी भी तरीके से संघ को खत्म करना चाहते हैं। इज दैट इट?
बिल्कुल। राहुल गांधी क्या बोलते हैं? राहुल गांधी हमेशा संघ के बारे में, सोनिया गांधी, इंदिरा गांधी का संघ के खिलाफ क्या रहा है और संघ के खिलाफ लगातार क्या, लेकिन 100 साल के अंदर कांग्रेस ने एक उदाहरण नहीं दिया कि जिसमें संघ के कार्यकर्ता किसी हत्या में या किसी उपद्रव में शामिल हो। आज भी कांग्रेस की 3 राज्यों में सरकार है, क्या कोई संघ का स्वयंसेवक कभी अरेस्ट हुआ है? 18 अक्टूबर को अभी कर्नाटका कैबिनेट में प्रस्ताव पास करके संघ की शाखा पर बैन लगा दिया था, कोर्ट ने हटा दिया।
That संघ had got nothing to do with the assassination of Gandhi ji, because I am not saying it, Sardar Patel said it.
You are actually vindicating the Congress party absolutely explicitly. Let me tell you why. Because you say that, it was Sardar Patel ji who banned, and Sardar Patel ji who lifted the ban. And Sardar Patel ji was a congressman who respected Mahatma Gandhi with all his life and his ideology and with his heart. And also he respected Nehru ji, because he had a fantastic working relationship with him. And if at all they had differences, that's common in a democracy, unlike Mr. Modi's and Amit Shah's relationship, where you don't even know whether they argue at all. You just have a yes man. And let me tell you, Mr. Modi is not the be-all and
but you still haven't answered the central question. Sangh wasn't involved in Gandhiji's murder. I'm not saying it. Sardar Patel said it. Let's end with that thought on a day when the entire country remembers the man who is responsible for the unity of our country. Today is National Unity Day. It's Ekta Divas, and we are one country because of one man. Let's always remember him, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Thanks for joining me. That's it from me on today's edition of this show, live from Patna. But remember, as always, on every story that matters, the buck stops here, and tomorrow is the big day, the NDTV Power Play, live from Patna. See you.
In Bihar, bahut politics hai. The year's election super final. Can Jai Viru storm the palace? Or will Bihar double engine defend? Fierce fight, electric election. Biggest team, biggest coverage. Battleground Bihar on NDTV 24/7.
The most coveted invitation in the Indian corporate golf calendar, where top corporates go head-to-head with the finest professional golfers. An exclusive circuit across multiple cities, aspirational, unforgettable. NDTV Golf Pro-Am, India's #1 golf Pro-Am, is here. The course of champions, the conversation of leaders. NDTV Golf Pro-Am, coming soon, stay tuned.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India, from where it all began, the first city of the world, where the Ganga flows. I'm coming to Varanasi to perform at the Namo Ghat. My first raga-based band, Jala, will also perform there. So book your tickets from District app and let's create harmony by the Ganga. See you, Varanasi.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindoor.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live. Unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Center.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France. In Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no.
Showcasing the NDTV 24/7 prime time, presented by Schneider Electric, Smart Home Solutions as studio partner.
Good evening and welcome to a very special program. Coming up in the next couple of moments, an interview with the one and only Ian Bremmer, one of the world's top geopolitical analysts. There's a great deal to talk about, particularly the meeting between President Xi and President Trump. Where is that all headed? Is Beijing slow playing Washington? That's a question many have to ask. But also about Trump's repeated statements that he was responsible for bringing Op Sindoor to an end. What does Ian Bremmer have to say about that? All that and a lot more coming up on this program. Good evening, welcome to Left, Right and Center. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program this evening, a global spotlight as tensions simmer on multiple fronts. We turn to the high-stakes chess game of international relations being played out with Donald Trump's recent meeting with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. That's been hailed by the White House as a 12-on-10 triumph. But is it truly a breakthrough or just a fragile truce amidst escalating US-China frictions? Our expert guest, geopolitical analyst Ian Bremmer, joins us in a moment to dissect this. But let's briefly discuss what it is that we are bringing up on the program first. We'll be looking at Trump's threats to resume US nuclear testing. How credible are these? What perils do they unleash on global non-proliferation? If America does proceed, what potentially fiery retort might Russia unleash, especially with Putin's Ukraine rhetoric fueling a potential new arms race? We'll also probe the US double standard on oil imports. Why the harsh scrutiny on India's Russian purchases while China's massive inflows get a clear pass? We'll also talk about West Asia with Israeli strikes reigniting Gaza. What role could superpowers, including China, play in fanning or dousing the flames at this stage? Plus, the meeting between Xi and Trump and the surprise deal over there, China easing rare earth exports for a year in exchange potentially for US chip access leniency. Does this expose vulnerabilities in supply chains? Is it a real thaw or a tactical timeout in this tech war? Ian, thank you very much for being with us. First up, let's talk a little bit about the threat of nuclear testing. It's happened more than 30 years back as far as America is concerned. Are we to take Donald Trump's threats to resume nuclear testing reliably?
So what he said was that the United States was going to take reciprocal measures on the basis of the Russian tests. As you know, the Russians aren't testing nuclear weapons. What they've done is tested a cruise missile that's nuclear powered. And so if the United States in return wants to start testing the delivery mechanisms, for example, for nukes, that would be a much less provocative move and wouldn't require any further escalation. Frequently there's very little specificity around what Trump says because he's not really thinking about it, and he's putting something out there without his advisors, sort of giving him adequate context. So I don't think there's very much to see here yet. And of course, the fact that Trump said this right before his meeting with Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping completely ignored it, which was exactly the appropriate thing to do, absent any useful knowledge.
How would Russia potentially respond to American nuclear tests if indeed Trump went ahead?
Well, as I said, I don't see any reason to believe that Trump is going to go ahead. If there were a nuclear test, then it would lead to nuclear tests from Russia and probably from China as well. And the world doesn't want to see that. There is a nuclear test ban treaty that the Americans signed, though it wasn't fully ratified, back in '96. And I guess there haven't been any actual nuclear tests by the U.S. since something like '93. So it's not something anyone wants to see. By the way, you probably know the American government is shut down right now.
Yeah.
And part of the furlough are the officials from the nuclear program that would need to supervise and execute on a test. So you couldn't have a test right now, even if you wanted to, because the government shut down.
Is there any need for a nuclear test, given the fact that America is now in a position, as are most of the Western nuclear powers or the major nuclear powers, they're all in a position to lab test nuclear weapons. So
that's right.
It just seems old Cold War rhetoric. Given the technology and its evolution, it's not really necessary, is it?
Correct.
And therefore, would you agree that this is just Trump's bluster? We shouldn't take it too seriously?
I don't think that Trump has a great deal of policy knowledge or detail when he makes a statement like that. I understand that everyone in the media rushes to cover every single breathless word. But even if we take the words directly, literally, they are contradictory. They are not internally wholly aligned with each other. There are also factual mistakes in terms of the size of the American arsenal compared to that of Russia. So I think this is a good one to take a breath on or two and wait until there's something more meaningful to say.
We'll talk at length in a moment about President Xi's meeting with Trump and trade issues. But before that, Ukraine and the fact that the war continues. Do you, post this meeting between Trump and Xi, potentially see China having some sort of a role in ending the Ukraine conflict from here onwards?
Trump has suggested that both in the last several days in the run-up to the Xi meeting, as well as over the past months. He's brought it up several times. Xi Jinping hasn't really bid on it. There weren't any talking points from the Chinese on Russia-Ukraine. I was in China myself a week and a half ago. I met with a lot of the Chinese leadership, and they made clear to me that at a time when the United States is seen as considerably less reliable by its allies and partners, including India, that the Chinese don't have many strategic allies, but the ones that they have, they think it's extremely important not to act in an unpredictable way, not to throw them under the bus, not to contradict previous agreements. So the Chinese are particularly reluctant to be seen as changing their relationship with Russia on the basis of U.S. pressure. So I think that there's extremely little willingness on the part of the Chinese to force the Russians to come to a ceasefire or to come to a negotiated settlement with the Ukrainians if the Russians are unwilling to do so. It's certainly true that China would like the war to end, but I don't believe that they are prepared to use any significant leverage in terms of their relationship with Putin to bring that about.
Ian, was the Xi-Trump meeting genuinely 12 on 10, as Trump says it was?
I don't know what 12 out of 10 is. My understanding, and look, I'm not a mathematician, I'm a political scientist, but when I was taught numbers, 1 to 10 meant that 10 was the best number you could get. So, I mean, maybe it's changed since then.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Maybe it has. And we'll all have to relearn mathematics. But did America really get anything out of this, which is very substantive?
Yes. Yes, they did. I mean, I would probably grade the meeting as a 7 out of 10 in the context of where the relationship is today compared to where the relationship was before the meeting. Now, if we were not to grade on a scale and look at where the relationship is today compared to where it was when Trump took office, which is the more meaningful metric, the relationship is worse. So it was a good meeting. It was an important meeting. I'm glad it happened. But much of what the meeting accomplished was to undo or to suspend damage in the relationship that had been done by Trump and by the Chinese in response to Trump. So we saw basically the U.S. has significantly increased tariffs against China. China has increased them against the U.S. The U.S. has now suspended most of that, with the exception of 10% from fentanyl, the chemicals that are coming into the U.S. that Trump levied, and the Chinese as well. So we have a suspension for 1 year of that trade war, which had become a boycott under Trump. We also have a suspension of the American 50% rule that had been announced in October that was going to put thousands of Chinese companies under a sanctions regime. And in return, we have the Chinese suspending the 9 critical minerals and related licensing restrictions that they had put on the table in response to the American 50% rule. We have the Chinese agreeing to buy soybeans once again, as they had been buying them at the beginning of the Trump administration, but then they suspended it. So, I mean, if you think of the letter V, and the relationship had been here, and then Trump comes into office and it goes down to here, we're now mostly back to here again.
All right.
But the broader relationship is still worse than it was back in January.
Can China be a reliable exporter of rare earths to the United States and other nations? Is that a real hold that it has geostrategically? If they cut off supplies, and it's just a one-year interim agreement or arrangement they potentially have with America, it is a huge power play that they can adopt, right?
The Russian playwright Chekhov once wrote that if you see a loaded gun in the first act of a play, it's going to go off by the end. And what we've now seen from China is a global lockhold on critical minerals and rare earths, the exploitation, the supply chain, the processing. And China has shown that not only do they have that leverage, but they have the regulatory capability of leveraging it. Now, a one-year suspension, and I accept the Chinese at their word on maintaining that at this point, because both sides have leverage. That 1 year will provide the United States and its allies the ability to reduce their vulnerability to the Chinese chokehold. And some companies will change their technology to rely less on those minerals. And the Americans will invest a lot more domestically and with allies to have alternative sources. And for critical minerals, that will matter a lot. But for rare earths, particularly heavy rare earths, we're probably talking about 5 to 10 years before the Americans could effectively replace it, which means that you're going to have yet again a very important run-up with uncertainty and instability, unless over the course of the now 2 planned Xi Jinping-Trump meetings in the next year, one planned for April in the U.S., one in China, one planned in the United States later in the year, those meetings create an opportunity for a more comprehensive trade deal that could potentially resolve the rare earth problem for a longer period of time, perhaps essentially permanently. But that's not where we are right now. And so, no, for now, the result of yesterday's meeting, only a 90-minute meeting, 45 minutes if you take out the simultaneous, the translation, that meeting really did not resolve this issue at all.
I find it interesting that, after certain promises, and this was something which India's External Affairs Ministry confirmed yesterday, China is beginning talks to step up exports of rare earths to India. India obviously needs the same rare earths for various applications. How would you assess that, the fact that there is a greater willingness of China to engage with India on something as precious as rare earths?
Well, the fact that the United States had ignored this capability of China for decades, and now it is a top priority. And it's a top priority not just for the United States by itself, and you hear the Americans frequently say that America first does not mean America alone, though occasionally it feels that way if you're on the receiving end. Here we have Marco Rubio and others in the White House saying explicitly that they know that they need to coordinate with American allies to build resilience and alternatives to that Chinese supply chain. And they've had some success. You've seen the announcements from Japan, from South Korea, from Australia in the investments they want to make. You've seen increasingly alignment with the UK and Europe too. And so here, the Chinese see that India is a country they would much rather not have be a part of that US-led coordination to try to contain and compete with the Chinese. Also, China and India have been engaged in their own efforts to stabilize the relationship that have started before the Trump administration came back, but they've certainly stepped up and accelerated, as we saw when Prime Minister Modi went to China just a couple months ago.
Will China be allowed reliable access to high-tech AI chips from companies like NVIDIA in America?
I accept that will be the case. I don't know if that's just going to be the H20 or if that will be even more advanced chips. But certainly NVIDIA, which is now a $5 trillion market cap company with a lot of access to President Trump, has been lobbying Trump personally and directly and willing to spend a lot of money on the U.S. government and on Trump's preferences if they are allowed to continue those sales. So I do expect, I mean, he's transactional. He listens to the leaders, the corporate leaders that are willing to pay, and NVIDIA is certainly in a particularly strong position on that front.
Well, we're running short on time. Just one or two more questions. Firstly, Israel's renewed aggression in Gaza, and the sense and the hope that so many around the world had that, with the return of the hostages and the swap for prisoners, the Gaza conflict, the beginning of the end appeared visible. That may not necessarily be the case. So if you were asked, why has the Gaza conflict still not ended, what would you say?
I think the end of the beginning is visible, but not the beginning of the end. The living hostages have all been returned. Even the Israeli government didn't think that was possible. It's a big deal. And the Israeli occupation has now been pulled back to roughly 50% of Gaza. So the war is no longer taking place the way it had been for 2 years. That's the end of the beginning. The beginning of the end would be a disarmament of Hamas, the removal of Hamas from leadership in Gaza, and the removal of Israeli troops from Gaza that would allow for reconstruction and some type of Palestinian governance with oversight and security from the international community, but not from Israel. That we're not at that latter point. The Hamas has not yet turned over the remains of the dead hostages. That was part of their agreement. There is no timeline or mechanism for Hamas to disarm. That was part of the agreement, but there's no agreement on what that means from Hamas leaders and from Israel. And there's no willingness on the part of Israel to fully withdraw. And as that occurs, we see sporadic fighting. We see more bombing from Israel. We see a lot of people getting killed. And then Israel continuing to say, well, the ceasefire is still in place, with a lot of pressure from American senior officials who have been cycling through Jerusalem to make sure that Prime Minister Netanyahu continues to listen. So I think that's where we are right now.
Just a final question or two. Every couple of days, Donald Trump talks about how he ended the mini war between India and Pakistan between the 7th and 10th of May. Everybody over here says nothing of the sort happened. It was Pakistan that came to the ceasefire table. I've personally been to briefings where there was a conversation between the US, where we were told about a conversation between the US President J.D. Vance and Prime Minister Modi and the top leadership over here. But it wasn't a threat. It was a suggestion that, look, perhaps you need to end it. But Trump's repeated statements suggesting that there would have been 250% sanctions on both nations, and that's why he brought that mini war to an end. To many over here, it's just astounding because they don't really see it as having happened at all. This isn't one person I've spoken to about 6.
So when you say over here, just for your audience, I want to make it clear you're not talking about South Asia, you're talking about India.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the Pakistani government has very much said that Trump and Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance were involved in helping bring the war to an end and indeed should receive perhaps a peace prize for that role. So India and Pakistan, not only are they fighting and mistrust each other, but they also have different perspectives on this. My perspective is that the United States played a role, but not the only role, that there was more influence over Pakistan than over India around what a ceasefire would look like in the terms. But then Trump embarrassed Prime Minister Modi by announcing a ceasefire while the Indian government was still working on what the statement was going to look like. And if you're the Prime Minister of India with your conflict with Pakistan and the Americans suddenly announce it, you're going to take exception to that. So I think the truth is somewhere in between. And it's unfortunate that everyone's arguing over something that frankly should not be argued about. The important thing is that the war is over. It's not who's taking credit. This is all very stupid, but it's what happens when you have men, old men, with big egos that put themselves above their countries. Yeah. And we'd be much better off if that wasn't the way we were led. But, I'll speak as an American. Trump, you asked about the 12 out of 10 on China. Well, I mean, he's given himself a 12 out of 10 in responding to India, Pakistan, too. And the last that I know, there isn't a 12. So that makes it a little harder.
All right, Ian Bremmer, great speaking to you as always. Thank you very much for being with us right here on NDTV. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Well, that's all the time that we have on Left, Right and Center. Clearly, there's a global spotlight on tensions which are simmering in so many forms. President Trump's recent meeting with President Xi Jinping, which has been hailed by the White House as a 12-on-10 triumph. But is it truly a breakthrough or just perhaps a fragile truce amidst escalating US-China frictions? Ian Bremmer's views, always interesting and always insightful. His remarks on India and America's claims on Op Sindoor, made repeatedly by Donald Trump, certainly worth looking at once again.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
Across the country, he has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. And now, Aditya Raj Kaul begins a new chapter at NDTV.
Actually, I'm taking off because the stories I cover don't sit still. To bring the world to India and to take India to the world, I need to be where action is.
Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else, only on NDTV network.
मजे को दुगुना करना है, मजे को तीन गुना करना है। काजी, रोहन, दोबारा से।
The battle for Bihar is on. Bihar on a turning pitch, or captain stays the same. NDTV hosts the biggest pre-poll event. Bihar's warriors, challengers and biggest faces live. NDTV Power Play Bihar. Unmissable in Patna, November 1st.
we unveil NDTV Golf Pro-Am, India's #1 golf Pro-Am, the course of champions, the conversation of leaders.
What a stellar lineup we have here on the stage of the NDTV World Summit to announce the launch of the NDTV Pro-Am. Arguably India's greatest cricketer, one of India's most distinguished bureaucrats, a top international golfer and also a top Indian pro at the moment. One administrator who's doing more to lift the profile of Indian golf than anyone has in the recent years.
All the top champions, the Tiger Woods, will all come from India in future.
It's great to be here. Golf is growing across the globe and here in India as well.
Whereas now the opportunities are increasing a lot.
Thank you very much. You're starting golf. We want to thank you.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
I think that's very, very important.
When it comes to elections, I am a journalist, analyst, commentator, and an advisor.
My point of view is not for the faint-hearted.
Nothing escapes my eyes. Not the leaders, not their agendas, not even the real game of elections.
हम सबको खबर देते हैं, हम सबकी खबर लेते हैं, चुनावों की भी, दावों की भी। बिहार की सोच, बिहार का फैसला।
पत्रकारिता का जो पहलू दिखता नहीं, वो हम दिखाते हैं।
इलेक्शंस की सारी खबरें मेरे साथ।
Watch me cover the Bihar battleground on NDTV 24/7.
In Bihar, bahut politics hai. The year's election super final. Can Jai Viru storm the palace? Or will Bihar double engine defend? Fierce fight, electric election. Biggest team, biggest coverage. Battleground Bihar on NDTV 24/7.
The most coveted invitation in the Indian corporate golf calendar. Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News Night with me, Raisha Sehgal, and it has been a power-packed day today with the NDA alliance releasing its manifesto, setting the stage on how both the parties are placed when it comes to the core issues. That is, when it comes to NDA's Sankalp Patra versus Tejashwi Yadav's Pran Patra. There were also questions being raised, and why Nitish Kumar was quiet on the stage. And also questions rather on if the new promises matter more than the old ones. Well, that was all the latest from the battleground state of Bihar. But on News Night tonight, our top focus, we will take you through new revelations emerging from the Mumbai hostage crisis, details that shed light on the harrowing hours of negotiation there. Also on the show tonight, surprising confession by Erica Kirk, who says that she sees some similarities of her husband in the US Vice President. All that and lots lined up, but first, the headlines. NDA manifesto out, youth and women focus, Mahagathbandhan questions, hurried event and Nitish's silence. The biggest Bihar poll event is here. Stage is set for NDTV's power play in Patna. Karnataka's BJP Neta's son beats toll staff. Over 24 hours later, the thug is still free. India keeping eye on Chinese vessel. That's what the Navy chief has said. All right, over Epstein's scandal, end of royal run for Andrew. All right, a shocking hostage drama unfolded in Mumbai yesterday, one that seemed straight out of a movie script, but was terrifyingly real. Rohit Arya, a self-styled director and education consultant, turned his own studio into a fortress, equipped with motion detectors, electroshock weapons, CCTV cameras, and a barricaded setup, on the pretext of conducting an audition workshop for children. Arya allegedly held 17 children and 2 women hostage inside his Andheri studio. When police arrived, they found the place booby-trapped with gadgets designed to detect motion, a setup more like a security bunker than a movie set. The tense standoff lasted over 3 hours, with negotiations and commandos trying to get Arya to surrender. But as police broke in, Arya opened fire, injuring an officer in the procedure. The situation ended fatally after Arya was shot in the chest during the exchange and declared dead soon after. Let's now tell you about the revelations. Revelation number 1. The police officers recovered airgun, fuel and lighter from the studio. Revelation number 2. Studio was perhaps equipped with motion detectors and alarms, like I mentioned earlier, more like a security setup than a studio. Revelation number 3. Multiple CCTV cameras were installed inside the studio. Revelation number 4 then. A kidnapper possessed electroshock weapon and expandable stick. Not just that, the last revelation is that the entrance kept locked to block forced entries. These are some of the latest revelations that we are tracking for you here on NDTV.
राज स्टूडियो में बच्चों की ऑडिशनिंग जो है वो पिछले कई दिनों से चल रही थी। इसमें इस दरमियान कई बच्चे जो है वो स्टूडियो में आए और स्टूडियो से गए भी रिजेक्ट होकर। इसमें से एक बच्चा जो है वो प्रिंस थे। प्रिंस आप थे वहाँ पे?
हाँ, मैं 3 दिन था वहाँ पे। उन्होंने ट्रेनिंग सेशन के लिए बुलाया था 2 दिन।
तो 3 दिन तुम थे, तुमने क्या किया उस ट्रेनिंग सेशन में?
पहले दिन जब भी मैं आया उनने बोला कि पहले अपना नाम बताओ और अपना एज बताओ, फिर दो भी दिन में वो करो। मैंने स्पीच दी तो उन्होंने मुझे सिलेक्ट किया और उन्होंने दूसरे दिन बुलाया ट्रेनिंग सेशन के लिए, बोला कि 11 बजे से लेकर 6 बजे तक तुम्हारा ट्रेनिंग सेशन है तो तुम उधर आओ।
तो तुम किसके साथ आए थे यहाँ पर?
यहाँ पर मैं अपने पापा के साथ आया था।
तो यहाँ पर ऐसे कोई टीचर थे या कोई शख्स जिसके साथ आप संपर्क में थे?
रोहन सर।
रोहन आहिर की रोहित आर्य?
रोहन आहिर।
रोहन आहिर के साथ तुम टच में थे, तो उन्होंने क्या बोला आपको?
उन्होंने बोला कि एक एक्टिंग करो कि एक स्टोरी बनाना है तुम्हें स्वच्छ भारत अभियान पे, कि ऐसा करो कि तुम एक स्कूल ट्रिप में गए हो, वहाँ पे कचरा साफ करने के लिए तुम्हें बोला गया और तुम करो। लास्ट दिन पे रोहित आर्या सर ने बोला हम पेरेंट्स को कि बाहर जाओ। सारे पेरेंट्स को बुलाया कि ऐसा सीन शूट हो रहा है कि आपके बच्चे किडनैप हो रहे हैं, तो रोहन सर दरवाज़ा बंद करेंगे और बाकी सब पेरेंट्स आकर ऐसे ठट्ठा करेंगे कि मेरा बच्चा कहाँ है, मेरा बच्चा कहाँ है।
रोहित आर्या आप बता रहे हैं कि वो बच्चों के साथ बड़े अच्छे थे, लेकिन वो तो बच्चों को किडनैप करके अंदर बंदी बना लिए थे, तो अभी डर लग रहा होगा।
लेकिन वो बच्चों के साथ टच में थे ही नहीं, वो बच्चों से ज़्यादा बात नहीं करते थे।
In other news, yet another instance of VVIP brat, this time from Karnataka. Karnataka BJP leader's son assaulted toll staff when asked to pay the toll fee. We're talking about Samarth Gowda Patel. Son of BJP leader Vijay Gowda Patel was travelling in a vehicle from Vijaypura towards Sindagi when the altercation that you see on your screens took place. On being asked to pay the toll fee, Samarth Gowda reportedly identified himself as Vijay Gowda Patel's son, and when the staff did not understand the reference to the BJP leader, Samarth Gowda reportedly lost his temper.
He and his friends then assaulted the toll gate employees, staff members at the plaza, then intervened and stopped the scuffle from escalating. Meanwhile, in a rampant display of brazen VVIP culture, the BJP leader defended his son's act, saying that it was perhaps natural to get angry when one speaks ill of their father. The state's health minister and Congress leaders slammed the BJP leader's defensive stance and said that action was needed against VIP brats. However, senior BJP leader Chalwadi Narayana Swamy condemned the behavior. He said that whether it is Congress or BJP, no one should get involved in such incidents, and no arrests have been made yet. It's been 24 hours, but no arrest yet. The thug is still roaming freely. Why? Because the toll staffer has not filed a complaint. All right, so this is not the first time that Samarth Gowda, son of BJP leader Vijay Gowda Patel, has been caught displaying VVIP arrogance. In fact, he is a repeat offender. In a viral video from 2023, he is seen shooting bullets in the air, standing in the middle of the road. Take a look.
Yes.
All right, let's now tell you about past instances of how lawmakers' sons have shown arrogance and tantrums. Now, number one is, of course, the latest incident that we're talking about here, where the Neta's son skipped toll and he was also absconding, and he asked who my father is. So this is what happened in the latest, where Vijay Gowda's son, he skipped the toll and he also thrashed the toll staff, and he shouted saying, "Do you know who my father is?" So this is the latest incident. Moving on, in January this year as well, Aam Aadmi Party's MLA's son, he also misbehaved with the police there. He weaved through traffic and he disrespected the police officers, as you can see here, and he was booked for reckless riding. Then in March this year, another incident, a drunk BMW heir, he urinates in public. He stops in the middle of the junction and he, of course, creates chaos there, breaking all the rules. So that's the picture of the person there who was urinating in the middle of the road. This happened in March this year. Then in July this year as well, Jharkhand minister's son, he was filming hospital reels, and he posts inspection video online claiming it's kindness, and his father, the minister, defends it as an act of kindness. So these are some incidents that we have tracked for you here on NDTV on how the lawmakers and the politicians' sons are clearly breaking rules and regulations and showing their arrogance. Well, NDTV's Deepak Bopanna confronted the BJP leader Vijay Gowda over his thug son's behavior. Take a listen.
हेलो विजय गौड़ा जी, नमस्कार। मैं दीपक बोल रहा हूँ एनडीटीवी से। सर
जी बोलिए। नमस्ते।
विजय गौड़ा जी, आपके जो बेटे का टोल गेट पे वो टोल स्टाफ को असॉल्ट कर रहे हैं, इसके ऊपर आपका एक ऑफिशियल स्टेटमेंट चाहिए था। कल आपने उनको वो एक्ट को जस्टिफाई करते हुए बोला कि उनकी गलती नहीं है और टोल स्टाफ का। क्या आप वो अभी भी वही मानते हैं?
जी, मैं एक बात बोलूं आपको, कल रात में आके टोल नाके वाले सब लोग आके स्टेटमेंट दिए, हमारा भी थोड़ा गलती है साहब, माफ करो, वो कुआ करके बोल के वो स्टेटमेंट दिए। वो स्टेटमेंट मैं आपको फॉरवर्ड करता हूँ, आप देख लीजिए।
नहीं, उनका स्टेटमेंट तो छोड़ दीजिए, मैं आपको जो पूछ रहा हूँ वो जो सीसीटीवी में दिख रहा है, इट्स वेरी क्लियर दैट योर सन गेट्स डाउन फ्रॉम द कार एंड असॉल्ट्स देम।
सीसीटीवी में जो दिख रहा है वो सही है। उसमें क्या है, मेरे बेटे के साथ चंद लोग थे, उन्होंने उनके साथ हमला हुआ।
सर आपका बेटा भी मार रहा है, वो तो सीसीटीवी में क्लियर दिख रहा है।
मेरा बेटा देखिए हाथ उठाया उनको, उन्होंने गलती से एक बहुत गंदे बात की है। उन्होंने
ऑडियो भी है, गंदी बात तो नहीं बोल रहे, लेकिन मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ वो टोल का कॉस्ट कितना है सर?
50 रुपए।
तो आप जो एसेट्स डिक्लेयर कर रहे हैं, आपका जो बेटे के पास जो है 50 रुपए पे करने की जो एबिलिटी नहीं है, क्या इशू क्या है सर इधर?
देखिए, ये ऐसा नहीं पूछना चाहिए आप
नहीं,
जो
मैं
पूछ रहे
आपसे- मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं, क्योंकि ये सिर्फ 50 रुपए की बात है, तो आपकी
सुनिए, मेरा
बात बताने की क्या जरूरत थी?
Well, NDTV exclusively spoke to the toll plaza manager who claims the Neta's son got angry and thrashed the staffer.
सर, अगर आप हमें बता सकते हैं कि टोल स्टाफ को जो है मारा पीटा गया था एक बीजेपी लीडर के सन ने, तो सर दरअसल हुआ क्या था सर?
कुछ नहीं मैडम, मिसगाइड हो गया वो थोड़ा सा।
हुआ क्या सर?
हमारे
आप
पास
हमें थोड़ा बताइए सर, हुआ क्या?
हमारे पास भी यहाँ पर विजू गौड़ा बोल के एक पर्सन है मैडम इधर।
करेक्ट।
वो भी हमारे अच्छे पहचान के आदमी है।
ओके।
तो हमारे लड़के लोग को पता नहीं कि इधर का गाड़ी हम लोग नहीं छोड़ते हो।
ओके।
तो उन लोग आके वही नाम बताया तो उसको कंफ्यूज हो गया।
ओके।
तो हमारे वो बीजेपी लीडर हैं, वो हमारी उनकी अच्छी पहचान है। तो उन लोग को हम लोग इधर एमएलए माजी एमएलए ऐसा वो पहचान से छोड़ते थे, नहीं लेके आने से ठीक हो गया वो।
अच्छा, तो आप बोल रहे हो कि हाँ, बोलिए सर।
उनकी गाड़ी को फास्टैग नहीं है मैडम वो।
ओके।
तो नहीं तो फास्टैग कट होकर वो चला जाता था। तो बाद में वो उनको थोड़ा गुस्सा आ गया कि हमारे लड़के ने विजू गौड़ा ऐसा कुछ बोलने से उनको गुस्सा आ गया। ओके। तो उससे थोड़ा उनको गुस्से में उसको मारपीट कर दिया। तो मेरे पास काम करता है लड़का, नया लड़का है वो। तो फिर भी नया लड़का है बोले तो भी 2-3 साल से काम कर रहा है।
ओके।
तो उसको ये पता नहीं कि यहाँ पर बीजापुर में ऐसा हमारा एक है बोल के यहाँ पे लोकल भी एक पर्सन है क्या ऐसा आदमी वाला, उनकी गाड़ी को छूट नहीं है
सर। बट पर सवाल ये है कि उनकी गाड़ी पे आप बोल रहे हो कि फास्ट ट्रैक नहीं लगाया हुआ था। अगर नहीं लगाया हुआ है तो स्टाफ ने तो अपना काम किया, राइट? उन्होंने तो पूछा कि आपको पे करके जाना पड़ेगा, तो तब उन्होंने ऐसा सवाल पूछना वो भी तो गलत है ना सर?
नहीं, वो गलती है मैडम। अभी बड़े लोग होते हैं मैडम, कुछ बोल नहीं पाते हम लोग। अभी क्या होता है कि कुछ कहने से कुछ हमको भी प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है, इसके लिए हम लोग कुछ कहे नहीं उधर। मैं इधर ही हूँ मैडम।
हाँ, आप बोलिए सर। कंप्लेंट फाइल नहीं की है, राइट, आपने अभी भी?
नहीं मैडम, NHI वो देखेगा, इसके लिए हम लोग कंप्लेंट नहीं किया उससे।
अच्छा, बट सर ऐसे मामले आप देखिए, टोल प्लाजा पे जब स्टाफ अपना काम कर रहे होते तो ऐसे बहुत सारे मामले सामने आते हैं। तो आप इन सारे, क्योंकि आप भी तो टोल प्लाजा पे ही काम करते हैं, आपने देखा आपका स्टाफ काम कर रहा है, तो इस तरीके के अटैक जब होते हैं, मारपीट की जाती है स्टाफ के साथ, तो आप इन सारे मामलों को बार बार जो होता है उसको कैसे देखते हो सर?
मैं CC कैमरे से चेक करता हूँ मैडम इसको।
From the world stage, US Vice President JD Vance has now spoken on the conversion controversy, and Vance has said his wife Usha, who is of Indian origin, has no plans to convert. Vance has further said will continue to love and support her. Now this comes a day after JD Vance said at the Turning USA Point event yesterday that he hopes that Usha Vance will someday find what he found in the Bible, perhaps. And when asked that if he hopes that Usha Vance will be moved by the same thing that I was moved by, that is church, he said yes. But the latest coming in is that Vance has clarified all the confusion and says that Usha has no plans to convert. Let's in fact listen in to JD Vance's controversial comment that raked up the conversion row debate.
Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro, the true flagship killer.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. From where it all began. The first city of the world, where the Ganga flows. I'm coming to Varanasi to perform at the Namo Ghat. My first raga-based band, Jala, will also perform there. So book your tickets from District app and let's create harmony by the Ganga. See you, Varanasi.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live. Unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right, Center.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France. In Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. Stop. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead.
All right, we are still tracking all that's happening in the United States of America. At a packed campus event for Turning Point USA, widow of conservative activist Erica Kirk, paid tribute to her late husband. But while she made, as you can see, the image on your screens, an emotional return to the public stage along with US Vice President J.D. Vance, she made a surprising revelation. She said that she sees similarities of her husband in the US Vice President J.D. Vance. While she emphasized that no one can replace her husband, Charlie Kirk, she believes that Vance shares key traits and values that her husband embodied. Kirk spoke very warmly of Vance, who had helped carry Charlie Kirk's coffin aboard Air Force 2 from Utah to Arizona. This was perhaps Erica's first time speaking at the conservative event since Charlie's assassination 7 weeks earlier.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President J.D. Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President J.D. Vance.